In modern conditions of reforming the system of national education, the problem of training a new generation by teachers capable of professional activities in the conditions of transition of the world community to the information society becomes especially important. The changes taking place in modern society and the reform of national education require the introduction of new educational technologies into the process of training future mathematics teachers. Among such technologies, the flipped learning technology, which is one of the key trends in the education technologies of the present, is particularly widely used in the educational process. Flipped learning technology is a modern trend in education that is of great interest of scientists. International organization Flipped Learning Network interprets flipped learning, flipped teaching as a pedagogical approach whereby the teaching process is shifted into an individual extracurricular space and the group space of the audience is transformed into a dynamic interactive educational environment for students mastering of educational materials and its great application. Flipped learning as an educational technology must meet the following four characteristics. Flexible environment allows you to use different models of learning. Learning culture is student-centered. International content aimed at supporting the conceptual understanding of the content of the educational course and its assimilation. Professional education, teacher professionalism is a key factor in ensuring the quality of the educational process. One of the priority directions for modernization the professional training of future mathematics teachers in pedagogical higher educational institutions is to combine traditional learning with the introduction of innovation, information, and communication technologies. The use of the technology is the professional training of future mathematics teachers contributes to students' education of independence, responsibility, initiative, development of creative, mobility, professional, communication, and digital competences. Here is an example of the use of flipped learning technology in a practical class in elementary mathematics on the them interesting world of factions around us. The schema of the class with all stages is presented. We describe the schema where formative assessment is an in-process evaluation that enables students to understand and track professional progress and plan for next steps with the help of a teacher. Formative assessment, final evaluation. Pre-phase work done before the class. Face-to-face session, work with each other during the class. Post-phase, work done after the class. ALO, intended learning outcomes. ICT is often used on each stage of the lessons. It is a work in the Moodle system and the use of a virtual board and only server and the use of a smart board for the presentation of students' projects and watching videos, etc. Family Assessment 1. Using the Moodle system, students view materials, videos, photos, presentations, etc. using formal, discuss, share experiences. Intended learning outcomes 1 and 2. Summative Assessment 1. The use of a shaded virtual board, teacher's assessment, frontal survey, Express server, online test, and others. Formative Assessment 2. Working in groups. Intended learning outcomes 3. Summative Assessment 2. Material Student Assessment. Formative Assessment. Next, development and presentation of students' presentations projects. Intended learning outcomes 4. Summative Assessment. Third, student self-assessment, material student assessment, teacher assessment. Formative Assessment 4. Individual and group performing tasks. Intended learning outcomes 5, 6, and 7. Summative Assessment 4. Teacher assessment. Formative Assessment 5. Watch video and intended learning outcomes 8. Summative Assessment 5. General discussion, teacher assessment of responses. Formative Assessment 6. Implementation of individual homework and presentation of results to Moodle. Intended learning outcomes 9. Summative Assessment 6. General discussion on Moodle. Formative Assessment 7. Presentation of the finished projects. Intended learning outcomes 10. Summative Assessment 7. Material assessment and teacher assessment. Preface. Intended learning outcomes 1 and 2. Activities 1. Student watching videos about types of functions and their properties. Activities 2. Students' discussion, questions posted by the teacher on a forum on this topic. Face-to-face session. Intended learning outcomes 1 and 2. Activities 3. Students' frontal server of self-study materials 3, 4, 5 minutes. Activities 4. Liquidation of gaps. Presentation of theoretical material 7, 10 minutes. Intended learning outcomes. Activities 5. Work in pairs to perform tasks on ready figures for definition 10 or 15 minutes. First, the type of function. Second, types of performed elementary transformation of the function in a general form. Third, an analytical record of the function presented in the figure. 4. Properties of a given function. Intended learning outcomes 4. Activities 6. Teaching division of students into groups to explore the use of function and their graphs in the environment. Mini projects, the world on function around us. 10-15 minutes. First, medicine. Second, architecture. Third, nature. 4. Science. Intended learning outcomes 5, 6, and 7. Activities 7. Individual and group performing tasks 10-15 minutes. First, graphing the function set analytical in the standard form. First, the simplest transformation of graphs of elementary functions. Third, determining the type of function according to a given graph. Intended learning outcomes 8. Activities 8. Students watch a teacher-prepared video showing some example of the function graphs in the environment. 2 minutes. Activities 9. Presentation of the mini-project results, the world of function around us. Postphase. Intended learning outcomes 9. Activities 10. develop a fragment of the lessons in a learning types of function with the obligatory inclusion of materials from a mini projects. 7th grader, 8th grader, 9th grader. Activities 11. Posting developed fragment of class on Moodle for general discussion. According to Bloom's taxonomy, the results of the training was to obtain the following expected learning outcomes, which are shown in slide. This form of work in higher education will promote the formation of general and professional competence in students. In addition to teach future math teacher the use of innovative technologies, we use bingo technology in the frontal survey. This is a fun game that will help to activity students' mental activity, set them up for activity learning. We offer students a QR code that gives them the task of collections a puzzle of finger matter, etc. Whoever does the task first say bingo and becomes a winner in this game. An example of the use of such a task in training elementary mathematics on the topic An Interesting World of Function Around Us is shown in slide. After watching a video clip prepared by the teacher, which provides some example of a graph of the function in the environment, we suggest students to watch a small video clip of a physical activity break. Such a video will be useful for future teachers when learning this topic at school. The final stage of this class is the reflection, whereas online resources were exploited to interact with the audience. One of the online resources is Mentimeter. Mentimeter is an online resource for creating presentation, surveys, real-time surveys, allowing you to get instant feedback from the audience. So, at the end of the lessons, we offer students to answer the following questions. Did you enjoy working with flipping learning technology? Options: yes, it was good, no. Will you use today online service in your future professional activities? Options: yes, rather yes, sometimes, I don't know, no. Anonymous voting can be effectively used as a formative assessment tool when it is necessary to determine the overall level of understanding the topic by students. 27 students from the Faculty of Physics, Mathematics and Informatics of the Tetiana Women's State Pedagogical University participated in the survey. The results of the survey are presented in slide. The interaction of participations of the educational process in an interactive form should be applied at the class as often as possible so that future teachers can successfully and skillfully implement them into their professional activities, thus turning learning into a game and engaging students in mathematics, because in such mathematics classes it will be not only be cognitively but also fun and not boring. So, one of the important tasks facing and the modern teacher of mathematics is to modernization the learning process by providing in which a creative and activity character in order to shape students' life competences. Practical methodology skills of future mathematics teacher should become a tool for building effective pedagogical interaction in the process for teaching mathematics to students. The use of innovative teaching technology in the process of methodological training of future mathematics teachers promotion students. Evidence of the need to create and use of educational space, which should become a powerful tool for students to develop critical thinking, self-discoveries of creative abilities, research skills, self-knowledge.